So, some of you might be starting boxing and wonder what equipment you might actually require. Now, the first thing we probably need is some sort of inner wraps. Boxers will be using most likely some sort of wrap. There are what they call now quick wraps that look like that. And then also for the guys who are just sort of starting out, aren't sure whether they want to do boxing, but do want to protect, I guess, their hands and their gloves a little bit from the sweat. These white cotton gloves are sufficient. But in saying that, the reason why we use wraps are to support your wrists. You'll see the boxers kind of wrap them up and you've got a lot of support around the knuckles and the wrists, and that's what these are for. So if you do decide that you're going to keep going in with the boxing sessions or classes, or whether you're doing one-on-one and so forth, these are not going to be sufficient. These are going to be pretty good. They're quick, they take no time to put on in comparison to these guys. But these guys, once you know how to actually wrap them, it's going to be very, very useful. So I'm going to show you how you guys can use that. So don't need any help with getting these in. Now these quick wraps you can purchase from, say, Rebel Sports. They're about 20 bucks each. And so what you want to make sure that you do is you try them on. So in this scenario here, I've got a pair of mediums. Okay, you can even try them on as they are in the wraps themselves. Unwrap them, and then what you want to do is make sure that the actual glove themselves fit nicely. Now you don't want it to be too tight and you don't want it to be too loose, okay? You kind of need to make sure you're not getting that little bit of rubbing from the material itself. So I want to be able to get my hands in there nice and easy. I shouldn't feel like I'm getting any kind of cutting through there, and it shouldn't be loose enough that you feel like you're about to pop off. Once you've got the quick gloves back on, you pretty much tighten up the strap there around your wrist to make sure it's nice and supported. Once you've got those, you can then pop your hands into the gloves, okay? So these are what we call quick wraps. They're very easy to get on and off. Now I'm going to show you how to go through the wraps themselves. There's two ways. I'm going to show you the more complicated way because I think learning that is much easier than just wrapping round and round and round and round. Your wraps do tend to slip off if you do that after a while, whereas if you go around your fingers, what you'll find is that it will actually support you that little bit more. So a good long strap is good. Don't get something too short, you will run out of the actual strap itself. So you do want a few meters. I think 3 to 5 is a good length. Anything less is probably going to be too small. Now, generally, if you want to keep them nice and clean, you wrap them up, you roll them, and then you just loop them around. That makes it a lot easier when you're wrapping. So I'm going to pop that down. Now, don't be too stressed if you find yourself in the wrong position or the wrap. There's no specific, this is the way you do it. The idea and the concept of how it's done will be based on how, I guess, thick your wraps are, your wrists are, I should say, and then also how long your straps are, and then of course how much support you want in your wrists versus your knuckles. So first thing is finger or thumb into loop. Now the stitching on the inside, I'm going to wrap that around my wrist, and then from there I'm just going to do my wrist a few times. So I'm just going to roll that around. Once I've done a few, one or two, I'm happy. I'm going to go around the hand. Okay, now think of it as you want it to be tight enough that it doesn't slip off, but not so tight that you cut your circulation off, but it should feel nice and snug. Okay, from there, we've got that, so I'm gonna wrap around again. Now I'm gonna go straight down to, because I've taken it that way, I'm gonna go around and do a figure eight around my finger, okay, my first finger. So here you can see a loop. I'm gonna come back down to the wrist, anchor it down. Then once I've anchored it down, I'm gonna go to my second finger. Now, if you need to take any rings off or watches off, I would highly recommend that for the moment, just for comfort, okay? So from there, again, anchor down to the wrist, move the wrap up and around the fourth finger, again, looping through. Make sure you keep the strap nice and flat, okay? It will make a difference in terms of comfort. So again, looping through, try and keep it flat, pull that through, and again, I'm gonna anchor it down. Now, I can move my fingers a little bit, but they are tight, so that's perfect. Get a bit of a test. I'm gonna come down. I'm gonna anchor all those fingers in just by doing one single loop. I'm gonna come up to my knuckles. I'm gonna actually create a little bit of a knuckle strap there. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back down and actually anchor, if I can get myself in the right spot, to anchor through with my thumb as well. So I'm gonna actually come through around my thumb, and then I come back the same way I came. And so now I've got a figure eight around my thumb as well. Anchor it down on the wrist. Then I come back up and do a little bit more around my knuckles. because I have extra strap to do. Then I want to come back down, make sure that I get a nice crisscross effect again. I want to have good support through the knuckles. Again, I can close my fist. It is tight, but it will loosen up. And then back down to the wrist. And again, I'm just going to kind of finish it off. I could have gone probably another layer back up the knuckles to give it a bit more support around that. Again, coming back down. And then just finishing up. Now, again, just kind of tightening it up just enough to feel like you're not going to slip out. Okay. If you find yourself on the wrong side of the strap itself, so here, perfect, I've got the Velcro nice and easy. Now, if you find yourself on the wrong side, don't panic. Don't think, oh my God, I'm gonna have to do that all again. Just flip it. Flip it so that until you can get your Velcro in the right position and then finish it off, okay? So that's how you strap through. Again, it takes a little bit of practice. It's a lot easier on one side than it is on the other, especially if you've got one side that's more dominant. But from there, make sure you can squeeze your hand. Create a fist is important. And here you can see how nice and supported it is, okay? So that's just one way to do it where you are supporting your knuckles and your fingers a little bit. Again, just practicing through. So now for those coming to our classes, we have pads that are available. We also have the lighter gloves, and we also have the slightly heavier 16-ounce gloves. So depending on your hand, your sizes, how heavy, how strong you are, will dictate what kind of glove works for you. Key thing is making sure you've got the right support to help you out. So these are the basic wraps, just showing you how to wrap them up. Give them a go, keep practicing through, and then if you need any help, make sure you come and let us know.